Hey everyone, welcome back to MNMM IELTS. This is Manmohit. Now, guys, in today's video, I am going to share with you all few of the do's and few of the don'ts for your IELTS reading module. Very important module, obviously, but at the same time can be challenging if not done well. So this video will cater to everyone. Doesn't matter if you're aiming for 5 band, 6 band, 7, 8, or even a perfect 9 or 9 band. This will apply to you. Do watch the entire video to understand what things you should be doing in your IELTS reading module and what are some of those things you should be avoiding, because they could very well be the reason that you're not getting your desired score. Doesn't matter what band score you're aiming for. So without wasting any further ado, let's dive right into it. So first we'll talk about the do's for your IELTS reading, as in what sort of things you should be doing in the real exam. First being practicing reading a variety of texts. Now, when I say the word text, I refer to it as reading a lot of magazines, books in the English language, not in any other language, but reading a variety of texts, like read newspapers, read books. The major reason students do not get their desired band score in the IELTS reading module is that they cannot read quick enough. And that becomes one of the main reasons that we actually end up running out of our entire time in the IELTS reading module. So we have to make sure that we get in a habit that we are reading a lot of text all the time and different variety of texts. One tip I can give you to all of you for the IELTS reading module would be, whenever you watch a movie on Netflix or any other streaming platform or anywhere, turn the subtitles on in English, obviously, and then start reading out the subtitles in the same speed as that speaker is speaking that particular dialogue. Because what would happen is, when you start reading out that text and try to match the speed with what that speaker has been speaking, it improves your reading skills. It improves your reading speed, is what I mean over here. When you read books, it might sound boring, or you might be really slow in reading the books. Let's say even if you just end up reading 2 pages every day, that is absolutely fine. You always start somewhere. Make sure to start into a habit. You might find it boring for the first few days or maybe even a week, but once you get in the habit of something, once you get in the habit of reading, you will eventually see that you will sail through and you would be able to read a lot of paragraphs, a lot of books in a short span of time. And you will, when you practice your IELTS reading module, after doing that, you will actually see the improvement coming in you, that you can read a lot of text in a short span of time. You will save time. In return, you will start getting more correct answers. So that is what I mean by practicing a lot of variety of text. Read a lot, that will help you a lot. Next thing is reading the questions before the passages. We know in the reading module what would happen is you would be getting a couple of paragraphs and passages, and then you would be given different types of questions. Could be fill in the blanks, could be true, false, not given. Different types of questions would be there. Your job is to, I've seen students making this mistake. They'll start reading out the passages first and then they'll start looking at the questions. If you logically think what is happening over here, you're just reading so much of information which is not even required. You just need to answer the questions that have been asked to you. So why would I read the passages first and then the questions? Shouldn't I be reading my questions first and then reading the passages? Absolutely yes. So I'll start reading out the questions first. Once I know what the questions are all about, that's when I'll start reading out my passages. And after this, I would be sharing you how to read out the passages as well, not just start reading out the complete thing word by word. This is what I'm going to do first. I am going to skim and scan my text first. Never read out the complete paragraph word by word, because that will take you a lot of time and you might not understand at the end of the paragraph as to what is that paragraph talking, what is that all about. Best thing would be to just quickly skim and scan all the passages, quickly read, the way we say is proofread all the passages. That will give you a better understanding in your mind as to what those paragraphs, what those passages are all about. And once you know what those passages are all about, that's when you can kind of read all the words, all the paragraphs properly and carefully, just to find out the correct answers from the given passages. Always skim and scan first. That will help you a lot. And then we do have is double checking the spellings. I cannot stress this part enough. I've seen students, just because of the time constraint, time limits in the exam, they'll write down or they'll type down the answer, move on to the next question, finish the exam barely with the knuckles, like with just a couple of minutes remaining, and they're just done with the exam. Always make sure you have got at least, you have two options: either double check every spelling once you have typed or written it, or do the complete exam but have about 10 minutes remaining at the end, just so that you can go through all the answers again to make sure that the spellings are correct or not. Because if you think about it, you spent your time, you got the right answer, you've typed it down or written it down, but in the end that spellings are not correct. And when the spellings are not correct, doesn't matter if it's the correct answer, you do not get any partial scoring, you just get a straight 0 for that particular question. So all that time that you spent is all wasted now. So what's the point in there, right? Always make sure to double or even triple check your spellings, because you cannot just be sure enough. So you always make sure you spend that extra time to make sure the spellings are right. Now, if I talk about the don'ts, obviously those are the things that you should be doing, but then there are a few things that you should be avoiding to do. What are those things? Let's start with the first one. Do not use your own knowledge. Now, when I say this, it's a very vague statement, but when I explain that is, you should be looking at the information that is given in your passages, in your paragraphs. Let's say they have given you a word, important, which is written there in the paragraph. When you start writing down your answers or typing down your answers, depending on if it's a paper-based or a computer-based exam, do not, just for the sake of showing that you know some good synonyms of those words, just to impress the examiner that you know a better word or a more complex word for the same word that is given in the paragraph, just for the sake of that, do not just change the word, because what would happen is you get a straight 0 for that, even though it's a synonym of the same word. Just stick to the words, just stick to the answers that are given in the passages and the paragraphs. You do not have to create something of your own. You do not have to have knowledge of your own. You just are, the task in your reading module is you're just finding the answers which are given. You're just locating and discovering the answers which are given there in the paragraphs. You're not creating or inventing something of your own. This is what I mean by not using your own knowledge in the IELTS reading module. Next one is extremely important, I would say. Do not get stuck at one question. Let's say you are at question number 2 and you have spent about 2 minutes, but you're not able to find the answer. Either it's very complex or your brain is not working on that particular one. That is absolutely fine. This will happen in the real exam. What I would do is I would be smart during that. If I am not able to find an answer to one of the question in 2 minutes, just leave that question, leave it blank, move to the rest of the questions. With that, what is happening is you're not wasting a lot of time just finding the one answer. And at the end, what you can do is once you're done with the entire exam, you can come back to those questions which you left, and that's when you can spend the time to find the correct answers. If you can find them, well and good. If not, just put something in there, because there's no negative marking in the IELTS reading, and move on. But never get stuck at one question. That is not going to help you. And once you start wasting a lot of time on one question, it will impact your other questions. Because when you have spent like 5 or 10 minutes on one question, once you move on from that question to the other questions, you will feel that, okay, I've got so many questions remaining and so little time. You will panic, you will be nervous, you will be anxious, and with that, you will make a lot more mistakes. Because of one blank, you will end up making, let's say, another 5 mistakes, which is not ideal. And one final thing, do not follow the myth of the exam dates. I have seen this chatter in so many students out there that they say, if you give exam in the middle of the month, or if you give exam at the end of the month, you get an easy exam. Versus if you give the exam at the beginning of the month, you get new questions or you get a difficult exam. That is absolutely not correct. Students who end up getting their desired band score, they just say, okay, give your exam in the middle of the month because that's when I gave my exam and I got my desired score. No. Every single IELTS exam is going to be different. The difficulty level is going to be different. IELTS never set their exam difficulty level based on when are they putting that exam. It does not work like that. Just give that exam on that day when it is convenient with you. If I am available to give the exam at the beginning of the month, I would be giving the exam at the beginning of the month. And same goes the other way around. What will help me to get my desired band score is actually my preparation and how I perform on the exam day, not the other way around. I hope this video was helpful. This is what I wanted to share in this one. If you have got any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. And if you need any such content by us, let's say if you're struggling in any topic or if you want us to make videos on a specific topic, again, do leave them down in the comments below and we can make a video based on those topics first as compared to the ones that we have got prioritized. God bless all of you. Stay safe wherever you are, and I will see you all in the next video.